We are getting close to the end of the month of June. And as I am sure many of you are aware, the month of June is known nowadays, at least here in the United States, as Pride Month. A month where a sense of pride is fostered in belonging to the LGBTQ community, and where certain lifestyles and behaviors are celebrated and promoted as good. Now, the reality of Pride Month is just a very delicate reality, and it's one that's been in my heart a lot as of late, and so therefore I want to talk to you about it. I think it's something that we need to talk about more. As followers of Jesus, what are we to think of things like Pride Month or similar movements or initiatives? What does Jesus and His church teach us regarding the different lifestyles and behaviors that Pride Month celebrates? As I attempt to unpack some of these things, first I'll say we have a lot of things that we disagree with, but we also have some things that we do agree with, some things that we have in common. And one of the main things that I think we have in common is that we agree on is that a person should never be mistreated. A person should never be mistreated. A person, no matter what attractions they are experiencing or what identity questions they may have in their hearts, should never be mistreated. What does Jesus say today in the gospel? He says, "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a small coin? Yet not one of them falls to the ground without your Father's knowledge. Even all the hairs of your head are counted. So do not be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows." You were made in the image and likeness of God. That's amazing. And if you've been baptized, right, you've even become a member of God's very own family, a son of the Creator of the cosmos, a daughter of the King of Kings. Even all the hairs of your head are counted. So whether you experience some of these attractions or identity questions that Pride Month celebrates or not, right? That does not define you. That does not affect the Lord's love for you. You are deeply loved by the Lord. He likes you. He likes you. He made you, and the Lord does not make mistakes. The Lord does not make mistakes. You belong to Him. Even all the hairs of your head are counted. He knows every single freckle of your skin, every single freckle of your soul, and He loves it dearly. And He calls you to Himself, to belong to Him, and to belong to His church, to the Catholic Church, and to have a deep friendship with Him. Because of this great dignity that you have, that every single person has, a person should never be mistreated or made fun of or treated as less, right, or whatever, right? And this is something that we indeed for sure agree with regarding Pride Month. Outside of that, though, we do have some big differences. We do have some disagreements. And so, before diving a little bit more into some of these disagreements, I just want to pause a little bit here and just talk about the concept of disagreeing with the way maybe somebody behaves, right? Or the way somebody, has a certain lifestyle maybe, right? Oftentimes I see on social media, or even talking with people, the following lie. This is a lie. If you disagree with someone's lifestyle, you are being mean. Or if you disagree with someone's behavior, you are mistreating that person. Or if you disagree with a person's choice in their life, you are a bigot, right? And this is just not true. This is false, right? I talk to people all the time, like sometimes at the airport, somebody will like see me, I'm wearing my collar, and they're like, oh, are you a priest? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a priest. And then they'll buy me coffee, and then they'll tell me in how many ways they disagree with my lifestyle, right? They'll say, hey, I think you should marry. Why are you not married? And they'll say, I disagree with you, as they're buying me coffee and talking with me. Are they hating on me? They're not, right? They do disagree with how I live, and I think they're wrong, but it doesn't mean they hate me, right? They don't mistreat me, right? They have the right of disagreeing with my lifestyle as a priest, right? And we have a good conversation and we part our ways, right? For example, let's say that you think recycling is important and you see that your neighbor does not recycle. Would it be okay for you to think that maybe your neighbor should change their behavior? Yeah, it's okay for you to think that. If you're convinced that recycling is important, it's okay for you to see your neighbor and say, man, he should recycle or she should recycle, right? Does not mean that you hate them or anything like that. Now, if you were to start calling them names when you see them on the driveway, or like getting up at 2 a.m. and graffitiing their house, now that would be mean, right? And you should not do that. That would be mistreating them, right? Disagreeing with someone's way of acting in the world, right, is not a bad thing. We can disagree. And actually, if you disagree with what I'm saying, that means you're proving my point, that it's okay to disagree, right? If you disagree with what I'm saying, you're proving the point, right? I disagree with how narcos live, and I think you do too, and it's okay. It's not a mean thing to disagree with someone's behavior. So that means that we can have some disagreements with things that Pride Month celebrates without meaning that we dislike people that support such an initiative. It's just a disagreement. Now, because of time, I can't go into all the different things in which we may disagree, so I just want to talk about one thing and expound on it in one thing that we disagree with. We as followers of Jesus disagree with transgender ideology, right? This idea that I can choose what I am. I can choose what I am, and then I can change my body, mutilate my body to match something that perhaps I'm experiencing inside, and that this is a good thing. So we disagree with this sort of thinking, this sort of behavior, right? Because in reality, it is not a good thing. It is not. It does not help people flourish. And a good image that I have, maybe could help you explain this. We could spend a lot of time here, but maybe think about a young girl, maybe or a teen, who is experiencing anorexia, right? This young girl thinks that she's overweight, right? When she's barely 70 pounds, right? Now, this young girl, if we think about it, she's probably really suffering in her heart, right? She really does believe she's overweight, and even though she isn't, right? And she thinks she's not beautiful. It's a lot of pain in her heart, right? And so we're not going to mistreat her or make fun of her, right? We're going to approach her with a lot of love because she's suffering. But if she wanted to have like a surgery, right? Maybe a liposuction, or want to like that surgery where you make your stomach smaller, right? Because she thinks she needs to lose even more weight, right? This would not be good for her, because the truth of the matter is that she is not overweight, even if she thinks that she is, right? And so the loving thing again would be just to be gentle with her, right? Understand her inner sufferings, walk with her. But the loving thing would never be to say, yes, you are overweight, you're right? You should have this surgery. That's just not true. To love her is to be with her in her pain, to walk with her, make sure that she feels loved, and that she knows that she is beautiful, and that she's a beloved daughter of God, cherished by Him, and that she belongs to Him. It's the same thing with transgender issues, right? A person may be experiencing identity questions. This may be difficult, right? It may be so real. And so we want to approach them with reverence and gentleness and walk with them. But loving them would never be to affirm, right, a lie about themselves, or to support a surgery that would end up hurting them, right? But now there's actually a growing movement, you may have heard of it, a de-trans movement of people who are encouraged to have certain surgeries, right? And or maybe go on puberty blockers or something like that. And later on, right, 10 years later, they're like suing the people that allow them to do this, right? Because now they see the truth. And they're like, why didn't you tell me the truth? And now they can't go back, or it's hard, right? A lot of medical issues, right? So it's out of goodness and love that we uphold the truth. So we never mistreat anybody, but we disagree with certain things that Pride Month celebrates, and one of them being this thing of transgender ideology. To conclude, I just want to say two things. The first is, if you yourself, right, in your heart, right, you're experiencing some of these things that I'm talking about, right? Maybe you experience attractions that Pride Month celebrates, right, or these identity questions that I've been talking about. You need to know that the Lord loves you deeply, and He cherishes you, and you belong to Him, and He wants you close to Himself, and He did not make a mistake with you. He does not make mistakes. And if you would allow me, I would be honored to walk with you, to hear your heart, to know what's happening in your life, to hear your story, to hear how you're grappling with these questions of wanting to understand yourself, right? This is a great part of the reason why I became a priest. To walk with people who are struggling in their heart with whatever it may be. This is just one thing. So I would love if you would allow me to walk with you. The second thing, as I conclude and note, is just to say that perhaps I think the Lord may be inviting us to be more open about these sort of subjects, to have more courage in talking about these things. Can it be uncomfortable? Yeah, because we don't want to hurt people, and people are really suffering, but being silent is not helping anybody, right? It's tough. I know it's tough to speak about these things, but we have to do it because silence is not helping, and people are hurting, and consequences are taking place, right? I know it can be hard. I hear from you sometimes at work, pressure to participate in certain parties, or to wear certain regalia, right? Or to use certain pronouns. I know it's tough. But we have to speak about these things and stand for the truth. As Jesus says today, do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul, right? There's no need for us to be afraid. We can have courage. We can know that Jesus is always with us.